The first drop of rain slid down my wrist as I tightened my grip on the steering wheel, staring at the glowing sign ahead, the Nova Grand. My hotel. My empire. And tonight, the one place I wasn't welcome. I sat there for a moment, watching well-dressed guests glide past the glass doors, laughing under golden lights I had chosen, stepping on marble I had imported from Italy. Inside, my father's birthday party was in full swing, the same father who had told me 10 years ago, "There is greater than, no daughter of mine will waste her life waiting tables." That memory used to burn, now it barely stung. Still, I hesitated. Even after everything I'd built, there was a part of me that still wanted him to be proud. A part of me that still wanted to be seen. I reached for the small envelope on the passenger seat, his gift, and stepped into the rain. The doorman greeted me instantly, but before I could take a single step inside, a voice cut through the sound of the storm. "Aria?" Vanessa's tone dripped with disbelief. My sister stood by the revolving door, perfect in her knockoff designer dress and self-importance. "What are you doing here?" I smiled faintly. "It's Dad's birthday. I brought something for him." She gave a small laugh, tilting her head. "You don't need to do this. He's fine without your sentimental gifts." My mother appeared behind her, clutching her shawl like a crown. "Aria, we talked about this," she said softly, her eyes scanning me with quiet judgment. "No, you talked," I thought. "I was told." "It'll just take a minute," I said. "You can't come in," Vanessa interrupted, stepping closer. "It's a private event, for family and—" She paused, smirking. "Successful people." The words landed sharp, but I kept my voice calm. "Then I qualify." Before she could respond, the heavy glass doors swung open. Owen, my head of security, appeared tall, composed, wearing that same calm professionalism that had carried us through a decade of building this empire together. "Miss Lawson," he said, bowing slightly, "Chef Michelle is waiting for your approval on the tasting menu. The VIP floor is ready for your father's celebration." Vanessa's smirk faltered. "Your approval?" Owen looked at her, confused. "Of course, Mrs. Lawson is our CEO." For a long, shattering second, everything was silent, the kind of silence that makes time stretch. My mother's expression collapsed into disbelief. Vanessa blinked as if she hadn't heard correctly. Even the rain seemed to stop. I met my sister's eyes. "Now," I said quietly, "shall we go in?" The elevator ride up was suffocating. Neither of them spoke. My mother fidgeted with her pearls. Vanessa stared at the floor, her reflection fractured in the mirrored walls. When the doors opened, conversation died instantly. The room was filled with people who had dismissed me years ago, my father's colleagues, family friends, investors who once said I wouldn't last a year. Now they all stared like they were seeing a ghost. My father rose from his seat at the head of the table, confusion creasing his face. "Aria, what is this?" "Happy birthday, Dad," I said, setting the envelope in front of him. "I thought I'd deliver it myself." He hesitated before opening it. Inside, the deed to a villa in Tuscany, one of the Novigrand's most exclusive properties. His name on the papers? His eyes widened. "A villa in Tuscany? One of mine," I said softly. "A gift from the daughter you didn't invite." Mr. Harrison from the bank, seated nearby, suddenly stood up. "Wait, you're Aria Lawson, the CEO of Nova Hospitality?" Thomas Anderson joined in, stunned. "Robert, your daughter is the woman behind the Nova Grand Empire?" My mother paled, gripping the table for balance. "You told us you were struggling." I smiled. "You never asked how I was really doing." The room erupted in whispers. People who had never looked at me twice suddenly smiled like old friends. Vanessa's fiancé slipped quietly out the back door. My mother started telling anyone who'd listen that she'd always believed in me. And my father, my proud, unshakable father, sat in silence, holding that deed like a mirror to his own disbelief. Later, I found him alone on the terrace. The city lights glowed across the skyline, reflected in his glass of whiskey. "How many of those buildings are yours?" he asked softly. "Enough," I said, "including the one your firm rents." He nodded slowly. "I was wrong, Aria, about everything." "I know. Can you forgive me?" His voice cracked under the weight of years. I thought about the nights I'd cried myself to sleep, the years of silence, the dinners I wasn't invited to. I thought about how it felt to be the failure they laughed about and the woman they now couldn't look in the eye. Forgiveness isn't what I need, I said quietly. I just needed you to see me. He looked away, eyes wet, and for once, he didn't try to argue. When the night ended, I walked through the lobby as the lights dimmed and the staff nodded respectfully. Every greeting, every smile, was one I had earned not because of my last name, but because of the empire I'd built with my own hands. Outside, the rain had stopped. The streets glistened with light, the air thick with the scent of wet asphalt and freedom. I glanced back at the glowing white letters across the glass. The Nova Grand. For years, it had been the symbol of everything I wanted to prove. Now, it was a reminder that I no longer needed to prove anything at all. I wasn't the forgotten daughter anymore. I was the woman who turned rejection into power and built an empire from the silence they left me in. And that, I thought as I stepped into the night, was the sweetest revenge of all. If Aria's story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More tales of heartbreak, power, and sweet revenge are waiting.